One Piece, Chapter 12, Dog.
Hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, your wonderful guide on this journey through the epic tale of One Piece. We are reviewing Chapter 12, and we left off there in Chapter 11 with our swordsman Zorro being stabbed by Buggy the Clown. Luffy is still trapped in the cage, and Zorro, very graciously, and of course he's bleeding out, wound up very heroic, I guess I should say, at the end of last chapter, picked up the cage that took 5 pirates to move, with Luffy in it, tossed it over his shoulder, and started running so they could escape the clutches of the evil pirate captain Buggy the Clown. So this one opens up with Buggy. He is not too excited. He's kind of getting everybody riled up and getting all his crew pumped up to go on a witch hunt. He starts talking to all of them and he says, we're not going to let 3 punks best us, are we? And everybody says, no. And he's getting everybody going. But anyway, he winds up. We are introduced to his first mate. He winds up going and bringing out Moji, the lion tamer. And it's actually pretty a cool splash page, and you wind up seeing this guy looks kind of goofy himself, but the lion that he is on top of, that he's riding on top of, is pretty badass looking. So definitely not looking forward to him hunting down the companions. So, but at any rate, though, so he sends off. We presume that he's going to send Moji off and to go get them. And then it goes to winds up cutting to Luffy and Zorro, and Zorro, as he says, okay, I think it's far enough, or I think at least that'll hold him off for a while. We're far enough for right now. He drops the cage and he's about to pass out. He's lost so much blood. He did get stabbed in what looks like the kidney, and I don't care if it's a flesh wound or whatever. I've had paper cuts that I get lightheaded over, so. So certainly, getting stabbed with with what appeared to be a foot-long knife is not, you cannot feel good. So anyway, he kind of just collapses to the ground, and then we go and we see there's this whole page, and there's no background, no nothing. There's just this very oddly drawn dog, very simply drawn, and I almost thought it was a mistake at first. Anyway, and Luffy's still in the cage, and he's trying to get Zorro's attention, and he says, hey, what's with the dog? What is he like? Is he dead? What's going on? He's not moving. He goes to touch it. He pokes his little finger out of the cage, and he goes to touch it, and the dog bites him, and Luffy, gets pissed off. Get the hell off me! Get off me! So anyway, at this point, Nami comes back, and he says, Luffy says, "Oh, great!" or somebody says, "Oh, great! There's our navigator." And she says, "Hey, I'm not going to be your navigator. I just came back to thank you for saving my life." So at any rate, they look over, and at this point, a couple panels later, they look over, and this dog is holding none other than the key to, or actually, I'm sorry, no, Nami winds up appearing, and she has the key. And Luffy says, "Oh my God, you stole the key to the cage?" And she says, "Yeah, well, a lot of good it does us, though. I didn't get the map or the treasure." So at any rate, then the dog winds up grabbing the key, and he swallows it. And all 3 of them are like, what? So Luffy reaches out of the cage, and he's grabbing and shaking the dog, telling him to give up the key, slapping him, whatever. And then all of a sudden we get this, no, leave that dog alone, And then we're introduced again to a new character, and it's Boodle, the mayor of Port Town. Now, this guy has got a big poodle-like haircut, if you couldn't imagine already, and these little wire rim glasses, probably similar to mine. And he's got this curly, afro-like hair, but he's also got like a mullet. It's like short on the sides, it's real big on the top, and then he's got like a mullet going on in the back, and he's just drawn real tall and thin and wafy-like. But anyway, he says, "Leave Chow Chow alone," I said, "What, Chow Chow? Who the hell's Chow Chow, the dog?" So he winds up telling the story about Chow Chow, and he's watching over the store, and the dog is watching over a pet food store of all the ironic things he could be protecting or guarding. And he's got a bunch of scars on him because he's been protecting this pet food store against the pirates. Buggy the Clown's pirates, have invaded this town and essentially taken over it. So All the other town folks that I guess haven't been killed or forced out are at some kind of refugee shelter. So we wind up finding out that the dog, and there's a little bit of a backstory with that too, and I'm thinking the reason for that is that the dog is going to wind up playing a part, down the road or sooner or whatever the case is. And I could be wrong, but that's just my gut feeling. And the dog has this backstory where I guess his master would go away and would tell him to watch over the store, and at any rate they ask if his master's at the refugee shelter or what. And the mayor, he said, Boodle says, no, he got sick and went to the hospital and he wound up, dying about 3 months ago. So at any rate, and they're going, well, with the dog still guarding the store though, what's his deal? Is he like insinuating that he's stupid? And the mayor says, no, the dog is smart. He knows what's going on. He's just like fulfilling his master's dying wish. It's like his way of, still kind of, I guess, like I said, maybe, adhering to what his wishes were or his last commands, because dogs are obviously very loyal. So, at any rate, during this whole exchange, the mayor winds up going and he's taken Zorro, who obviously is bleeding out and has been stabbed and lost quite a bit of blood. He took him to the shelter or to a nearby place, and he actually had told Luffy, said, I offered to have the doctor, his doctor look at him, but he said no, he just needed a little bit of sleep. And they cut to a picture of Zorro, and he's just laying there snoring, just taking a nap, because apparently you can just sleep off losing, like half the blood in your body. If only we could all be so badass. But so at any rate, it winds up then coming in, and we hear, a roar, a growl down the street, and Boodle says, because he's talking to Luffy the whole time, and Boodle says, oh my God, no, it's this Moji, it's Moji the lion tamer. And so him and the mayor and Nami, go running off, because mind you, Luffy's still in the cage. He's been in the cage now. This is the third chapter. He's been in the cage, so he just wants out at this point. Damn dog swallowed the key. What's he gonna do? So anyway, the next thing the lion tamer is right up on him, and Moji, and he says, okay, and I'm gonna kill you or capture you and kill you, whatever. You've caused quite a stir basically, and stirred up a hornet's nest with Buggy, Captain Buggy the clown. So at any rate, the first thing Luffy says, and I like this kid because he speaks his mind. He's got he's got his singular goal in mind. He goes and he says, "The hell's wrong with your hair?" Because this Moji is just kind of a weird looking individual. I thought that he was wearing some kind of animal suit at first, like an animal fur or suit over him. Looks like he's got a little hoodie, and he says, "That's my hair." So he's obviously offended by that. So I thought that was kind of funny, He winds up going and taking, and then, he says, okay, listen, enough of this, they back and forth, they make fun of each other, and then he basically goes and takes and sicks his lion on Luffy, and the lion is named Richie, which, I don't know, I just found kind of funny that the lion was named Richie, but at any rate, so he says, Richie, get him, and Luffy's actually happy because as the lion goes and just charges into him, tramples the cage explodes pretty much, and Luffy's like, hey, I'm free, and clearly he's not as worried as somebody who didn't have the power that he has as far as being able to stretch and be elastic, so he's not as worried about taking a hit like that. He's just excited to be out of the cage. So nonetheless, he winds up he gets hit with such force it blows him through the wall of the house and out into the next street, and the whole house is collapsed and there's dust everywhere and whatnot. And Moji says, tells the lion, he says, "Come here, Richie. No one could have survived that. Let's go find Zorro." And that's who he was looking for anyway. That's who the captain is most interested in getting. So he said, let's go. We'll find Zorro. So Luffy now is, like I said, he's excited because he, of course, is actually out of the cage, which, he has been locked up for three chapters now. So that's been a little bit slow, I think. And anyway, he winds up saying something that I thought was, a little bit comical over here. And he says, okay, now that I'm out and this and that, he says, let's go show these clowns what's up. And maybe I catch and pick up on little things that others don't find comical or whatever, but I think that some of the writing is genius because clearly Buggy the Clown has a bozo-like clown nose. As we found out a couple of chapters ago when he was introduced, he's not. He takes offense very easily. Wound up killing one of his own men because some of the words that he said sounded similar to things that may have offended him. So it's not something he's real sensitive about that, and I just thought it was, comical that Luffy says, well, number one, he's just this headstrong kid that's just real comical, with the things that he says, because he's so straightforward and so honest. There's nothing hidden about him, He lays it all out there on the table, and like I said, you have to respect that, because he tells it like it is. He's ready to die for his cause. If he needs to, he's made his peace. So, all in all, it was a pretty cool chapter, and I'm certainly looking forward to diving into the next one over here. So, if you like the video, as usual, leave a comment. Been seeing a lot of them, so that's great. Like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll definitely catch you in the next one for Chapter 13. Take it easy, everyone in the nation.
As always, brothers and sisters, thank you for watching another video from the nation to you, the people of the nation. Feel free to subscribe or take a look at some of the other videos I have, and we will catch you next time.